cockpit is too hot. Spoilers full.
Hi guys, sound check as usual. Can you guys hear me okay?
The cockpit is too hot.
Awesome. Makes a change. Normally there are issues with the sound, so hopefully we're good this time. So we're on. I decided to update Explain to beta 5. They released 4 earlier this afternoon, and I noticed a lot of people had some serious issues with it, to the point where they had to reinstall Explain. Luckily I was at work, so I didn't just jump and update it, but I noticed that they, because of all the complaints, I guess, they've updated it straight away, so now it's beta 5. So far, no issues, but I haven't really flown around or seen anything. I've already noticed a couple of issues with the JAR A320. The displays there are very dark, and even the keys here pretty dark, and I've tried to, don't know if I'm missing anything, but I've tried to turn up the brightness with all the various knobs, but hasn't really made any difference. Taxi lights and all that is on, just as I was testing it, really. All these lights seem okay, but some of the internal lights don't seem to be working very well. Okay, let's go and test it out. Let's go for a flight. See what's if there's anything else broken or fixed. Can I just make sure you guys can still hear me okay?
Park brake on. Flaps 1. Flaps 2. Park brake on.
So I hope you all had a nice week. It's been very cold here in England. I'm sure it has been for most of you too, somewhere, wherever you are. Feel the lighting in here is there we go, that's not too bad, but still not as bright as it could be or should be. Anyway, it'll do for now. So you can see the weather in the UK is not great right now. Very low visibility. So I noticed there's these 3D lights. Can you see those around the aircraft? That's a new X-Enviro feature. I'm not sure what I think of it really. There is a setting so you can switch it off. So let's do that. So I think it's that there. That's better. Yeah, I think, to be honest, I prefer it off. So I think I'm going to keep it off. Performance seems alright. Pretty good. Tor Jacobson. So yeah, that's the settings I'm currently running. You should be able to see it in the link there. I mean, I can load it up now if you want to have a look, see how I've set it up. I do lose quite a bit of frames when I'm streaming or recording videos, so I turn this down. Normally I have it on the highest. World objects, I'm using W2XP Autogen, and it adds in a lot of buildings and trees and other objects, so high is more than adequate for what I need. I have tried it on maximum, but it's too much and I'd rather have the smooth experience instead, to be honest. How many FPS? So let's have a look. So mid-30s. This airport's quite detailed, so probably when we take off, probably see it higher than that, maybe mid-40s. Bear in mind, when I'm streaming, I do lose between 8 and 10 FPS, so it's not too bad. It's around 40 now, actually. Tor Jacobson, have you switched off threaded optimization in your NVIDIA settings? Because apparently there's a huge effect on FPS when you have that switched on. So switch it off. You should notice a massive difference in FPS immediately, actually. Wow, the visibility really does suck, doesn't it? So, I mean, the Java A320 mostly works okay, but the only issues that I'm finding is with the lighting. Don't know if any of you guys have figured out a fix for it or not. I certainly haven't. But I guess we shouldn't expect it to work perfectly, not whilst X-Plane's still in beta.
Power set.
Even the readings in the autopilot control panel, you can barely read them.
Positive climb. Gear up.
Too low.
Barrow
Gear.
constant. Passing flight level 004. Speed check. Flaps 1.
See at what point the visibility clears up. There we go, starting to clear up now. pretty dim, to be fair.
Speed check. Flaps 0.
Let's see if we're going to be able to do this now. It should be okay. Just about see it. I think this is going to be trickier than I thought.
Cross check.
There you go, that should be okay. Cool. So now we've got a bit of light. I guess it's the sunlight from behind. I think that needs to be fixed a little bit because there shouldn't be sunlight in the cockpit when the sun's behind me. Seems a bit strange. So I'm already noticing some performance issues which I wasn't getting yesterday. It was running really smooth with this aircraft, pretty much in the exact same spot, scenery wise I mean. So I'm wondering if it's anything to do with the new beta version. I'm not sure, Tor, actually. There's a weird thing going on there in the headrest. Yeah, see, it's running at mid 20s now, the FPS. That's really bad. So I'm not sure what's going on now. Very odd. So yesterday, in the exact same setting, averaging mid 40s, top 40s even. But something's going on. You can see there's stuttering. I'm not sure why, which is a bit annoying. But there we go. That's what you get when it's not final release. Yeah, I think, Luke, I think the beta 5 is definitely slowing this down. Yeah, I still think that X-Plane 11 is much better than X-Plane 10, to be fair. It's huge. It's a huge update. But you know, it's not going to be perfect. They're working on a lot of improvements and that sort of thing, really. But yeah, this is definitely, beta 5 is definitely worse than 3. It's funny because last night I was thinking, wow, the performance is just almost perfect. So I think I've gone and jinxed that now. No, I agree, Bruce. I always did think that with that sort of level of clouds, you shouldn't be able to see any of these lights. And if maybe here, maybe you could, but certainly not that bright. So I think that's something else. I think that's probably more of an X-Enviro issue, really, more than anything. I think it's fair enough that X-Enviro is updating their system, you know, the product, even though X-Plane 11 hasn't really officially launched, which is pretty cool because all the other payware products are not doing the same just yet. Some have. I think Flight Factor, they haven't done a full X-Plane 11 compatibility. Apparently there's rumours that they're going to charge for it. They did do an update, but I think it was a minor update. I'm wondering if it's X-Enviro that's causing... I'm just going to disable it a second and see what happens. Yeah, see that surprises me. I'm still sort of running mid-30s with no weather. I would expect it to be in the 50s now. Although I am streaming, yeah, I would definitely expect it to be in the 40s, and if I wasn't streaming I would expect it to be in the 50s, but not 30. Oh well, that's okay. I'm sure as they update it, it will get better and better. This is one of the things I love about X-Plane. It's just the ability to just add and remove things very, very quickly and easily, or changing the time instantly. I remember the days of P3D. Well, I'll make it sound like it was ages ago. It was about 7 months ago, I guess, when I used it. You know, changing the time. How long you'd have to wait for that to load. Aha. So it looks like they fixed the map. So this was very buggy. In fact, it looks like they've even updated this map altogether. If I'm honest, I haven't really read the change log, but this is definitely different. It's a lot smoother than the previous version, which is pretty cool. So for those of you who've not seen this before, hi Josh, good to see you back again. So for those of you who've not seen X-Plane before, so there's lots of really cool features. So you can bring up the map by just clicking the M key on your keyboard, and then you can click on an airport or airfield, and click details, and it'll give you all the details for that airport, including the current conditions, which is pretty cool. The other thing you can do here, so if you zoom in, excuse me, on an airport, and you click on any of the runways, you can go ahead and tune the nav 1 and nav 2. So if you wanted to do an ILS approach and whatever, you can just tune it in that way, which is pretty cool. Wonder if they change anything with the VFR. I think that's still the same. I can just about make these keys now. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a turn now. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame we've lost quite a lot of frames, and it's not the weather, because I've been using the weather quite a lot and it hasn't caused any performance issues. So it must be the new update. Explain. Hi, Raphael. So I was just saying. Beta 5 is definitely worse than Beta 3, for me anyway. I was doing a similar flight. Some of you may have seen the video, my last video that I uploaded. Very similar sort of flight situation, and I was getting sort of mid-40s on average, and now it's sort of, look at that, mid-20s, which is very poor. Tor, yeah, I've noticed that with this particular Airbus, the engine's, I think it's got Tourette's or something. It's just constantly spooling. Not sure why it's doing that. Just make sure it's tuned correctly. 99, yeah. The thing is, I mean, about the performance, I'm not too worried. I mean, yeah, temporarily it's you know, it's gonna suck, but you know, hopefully by the time that, you know, we get to the final version of X-Plane, it's gonna be really good. I mean, as I say, in yesterday's version it was brilliant, really good, and I'm sure they're going to get quite a lot of feedback. It's not just going to be me, hopefully, that's experiencing this. There's almost even tearing, actually. Yeah, that's interesting. It's almost tearing. I don't know if you guys can notice that. Normally I'm running very smooth. Yeah, I think definitely keep with the beta 3. Now I'm not sure if I can actually revert to beta 3. And if you guys probably more experienced than me about that, I really don't know whether I can actually revert, because I would. I was a bit reluctant actually to update it, especially after all the chaos that happened earlier this afternoon when they went to version 4. Hi, Dutch Hollander. I explained earlier, unfortunately I did not look at the changelog. I literally updated it before I went live, just to show you guys what if there's anything noticeably different. So far we've established that the performance is worse, but that's okay. It's not going to be perfect, not in the beta anyway. And it looks like they've improved the map. But even loading them, I mean, can you guys see my frames on the left hand side? So when I open the map, there we go. Glitched it. Yeah, that's interesting. Something's going on there. That's pretty cool, Matrix Pilot. What simulator did you fly in? What, an actual full motion sim? Okay, fair enough, Tor. Yeah, so guys, for me this is very laggy. Some of you might think, oh, 30 FPS is pretty good, but yeah, it's not good for me.
Speed check. Flaps 1.
It looks like my autopilot is just disconnected for some reason. It's fun. That's probably because I've my speed fell too low. It's okay, we can hand fly it. See where there's the airfield. Josh, so I'm used to sort of top 40s, early 50s FPS wise. Excuse me. So I did a similar flight with the same jet
Speed check.
last night, and it was very smooth. In fact, I mentioned earlier, my last video that I uploaded on my channel, you'll see. I mean, you can see from the video that it's smoother than this, much smoother. No, Josh, exact same thing really. Same add-ons, same, payware. I think the weather. In fact, actually, the weather was more visible than what it is now, especially under that cloud layer. And the worse the visibility, the better the FPS. I find. So it's definitely not that. It's definitely the new upgrade. And I did mention that I do lose between 8 to 10 FPS when I'm streaming. But when I'm streaming, you guys normally see it. Or for those of you who've been on my streams before, you'll know that I sort of hit around the 40s at least in the stream. You can see now it's sort of mid 20s. And it would seem, if I'm not mistaken, according to the pappies there, I'm on the right glide path, but according to my glide slope, it's saying that I'm too low. So if I reduce my rate of descent,
Gear down.
yeah, that's I'm sure that's a little bit misaligned, I would say.
$2,500.
It seems to be getting a little bit more accurate the closer I get. So I don't know whether... I'm pretty sure that's not what's supposed to happen in real life. Again, it could be just a beta issue. Yeah, so it's 3 white, 1 red. I'd expect it to be 2 white, 2 red on this specific glide slope. John, no, I'm not on VATSIM yet. I'm fairly new really to all of this. Excuse me. I've been I've been doing this on YouTube now for I think 5 weeks, coming up to 5 weeks. And with regards to X-Plane, I've only been using it for about 7 months. And before that I was using P3D, and it was nothing sort of serious. It's just
Speed check.
flying around and just nothing like what some of the other YouTubers do, like Castrate and whatever. He does pretty in-depth flights, short haul or long haul. I'm still in the early stages. My channel is really more about showing you guys some things that you may have not seen before, with regards to settings and that sort of thing. And obviously I'm one of the first ones to show you the new versions of the X-Plane releases, so slightly different. A lot of people seem to like the photo scenery that I've got installed here. Does look pretty good. Sorry, Bruce. I was sick a few weeks ago and it's just not wanting to go. So normally what I do is
1,000.
mute the mic when I need to cough, but I'll be muting it every few minutes. That right. So apologies for that. Tor, I don't have the shadows on. That kills my frames. Don't know if if it's only good for you, but yeah, it's not good for me. And reflections as well, I have that on minimal. But I don't feel like I'm missing out too much on those things really, to be fair.
$500. $400.
So the glide slope seems to be
300.
more accurate now. I've got closer. So that's a bit bizarre.
200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20.
Here we go. So we got another issue here. It will not go into reverse thrust. It's interesting. Not sure why that is. Yeah, I'm having all sorts of issues, as you can see, guys. I can't work out whether it's... I think it's a mixture of two things here. So it's beta 5 and the A320 is obviously not optimized for this either, so I'm getting all sorts of weird issues with the aircraft. So it's giving me a low terrain warning as well. Very odd. What I'm going to do is just let's change the aircraft and see what happens. I'm wondering if it's there we go. See, it's crashed. I knew something was up with that. That's interesting. So let's boot it back up again. Matrix Pilot, that was not a deliberate touch and go. I was intending to, for it to be a full stop landing, but the reverse thrusters did not work. So I could not slow it down, so I thought I'd just take off rather than just crash into the scenery. Raphael, what are you having to, is it the issues with the A320 you mean? Yeah, I think the full release of X-Plane 11 is going to be something special. I'm confident it will be. From what I've seen so far, it's it really is a massive update. It does look good. So how many of you guys in this who are watching the stream now, how many of you have not switched to X-Plane yet and thinking about it? I'd love to hear how many of you, unless you're all already on Explain, one way or another. So I've got SkyMax and XEnviro installed. So I normally just disable SkyMax Pro because I'm not too happy with that at all. So we're doing a bit better now, aren't we? Sort of mid 40s, 40 FPS. Depending where I look, that way, sort of 50, 40. Naturally, towards the city, it's going to be lower. Wow, so if quite a few of you have not used, or you're not on Explain yet, that's interesting. So I've known about Explain for many years, and in fact I've downloaded the demo a few times here and there, and I just always thought it's nothing special. It's sort of like a flight sim wannabe. But then it was about, as I say, 7 months ago. I switched to Explain, and that happened actually when I bought my GTX 1080, and I was really disappointed because I was hoping it was going to make a massive difference to P3D, and it didn't. So it was such a letdown, and I thought, gosh, I mean, it was amazing for other things like Battlefield and whatever else I tried. So I decided, I just saw something on Reddit. Someone took a screenshot of Explain, and I decided to download the demo, and I was quite impressed with it. So I gave it a bit of a chance, and here I am 7 months later. I deleted P3D and FSX, and I've not looked back. It really is amazing. Obviously that was Explain 10, and ever since they launched Explain 11, I was one of the first to get the actual beta version of Explain. So I quickly jumped on it and had a play with it, and I was really impressed. So yeah, I've done things like that. Not I assume iVow is a bit like VATSIM, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, no, I've not done any sort of flying on those sort of things. I'd like to, but I need someone to teach me. So the frames have definitely improved. So I'm wondering whether it's the A320 that was causing the issues, the FPS issues, and also the crash to desktop. Yep, of course I can. This is my settings page. Molly is the 1080. Josh, yeah, maybe it is to. Well, it depends what you mean. Easy to get used to. I would probably not know how to, you know, communicate. So I'll need to probably learn how to do all that before I go on there. I don't want to just go on there and just learn it as I'm sort of, you know, for my first time as I'm trying to fly, because I think people just get annoyed. Don't want to ruin it for others. Yeah, the lighting, the internal lighting, is definitely not right, and it hasn't been for a while. it seems like it doesn't really take into consideration where the light is coming from. So I mean, the sun's there. I'm pretty sure when it's behind, it does get brighter, but it doesn't take into consideration that there are things behind the panel. So the seat, as an example. So it should be getting darker now, or you should at least be seeing the shadows of the stuff back here, like these chairs and whatever. Yep. So Freddy, I'm running this at 1440. I would not have it any less than that. Plus, I think I did try it on something lower, 1680 or whatever it is, and it just looked horrible. Probably because I'm used to this now. So guys, are you seeing this stream in high quality, or I don't know? I'm using something called OBS to stream this, and I don't trust it. So you guys can tell me if it's if it looks good for you guys or not. Hi, Jose. Ah, do you? What in so you're saying the Cirrus crashes in what, beta 5? Good, I'm glad to hear it, because I want you guys to see what I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing is really good, and it's pretty flawless in terms of smoothness on my screen. Just never know, because I've seen a couple of other sort of streams online, and they don't, you know, sometimes they seem stuttery, so I don't know whether that's actually YouTube or Twitch or person's setup, but it seems pretty smooth on my setup here. So I'm hoping you guys are seeing it just as well as I am. No sound? Is that for all you guys? Can you not hear it? I hope you can hear the aircraft as well as you can hear my voice. I'd say hearing the sound of the sim would probably be a lot more interesting. Okay, good. So I'm not sure around the sun why your sound, or you're not hearing the sound very well. Sorry to hear that. Okay, so the aircraft sounds a little bit low. See if we can do something about that. Let me know if that's a little bit better. Have I flown out of Kilo India Sierra Papa? No, I haven't. I don't recognise that iCow. Should I? Long Island. Whoops, I'm not concentrating on my flight there. We could try it shortly, if you like. There's no real structure to this. All I'm doing is just playing around with the new version of X-Plane and showing you guys. We're testing it together, shall we say? Yeah, it seems to be okay now. So right now, it's actually surprising because I'm getting high 40s even while streaming. So that's interesting. Maybe I didn't test this new version fairly. I think all I did was jump in the Airbus 320. I just assumed that it's Beta 5 that's causing the performance issues, but I'm starting to think it was just that Airbus, guys. Josh, I think the 737, the default one, is pretty good. You know, they obviously still need to do some improvements with the FMS and that sort of thing, but it is pretty damn good for freeware. Let's face it. Around the sun, yes, I do want to get Track IR. I understand it works alongside X Camera. I did try X Camera. In fact, I do have it as a plugin here. If you haven't noticed, there it is there. I've tried to set it up and I just got way too confused, so I just gave up on it. I haven't had the chance to really go and look at YouTube videos and whatever and see how to actually set it up properly, but I will probably have to if I get Track I assume. So Jose, what's this GeForce simulation? Yes guys, this is X-Enviro. Mustang, yeah, it was the A320, the jar design one. Raphael, I do have the IGEX. We can load that up now if you like. Let's see. Jose, believe it or not, I haven't spent that much time really. A lot of people assume it's quite a complex thing to do. I guess it is if you've never done it before, but all you need to do is just select the tiles or the regions that you want to download, and normally I just let it do it overnight, and then yeah, the following day I just copy it over into the scenery folder, and that is all. It's pretty straightforward really. I think what X-Enviro did, to be fair, is just absolutely amazing. Look at that haze and the light in the distance. This is all rendered by X-Enviro, by the way. Not the actual lighting, but how the light is displayed, sort of like hazy a little bit, and the amount of light. And I also noticed there was an update on, sorry, a post on Reddit, and there's this website that created a little plugin or an update, I don't know what you want to call it, for X-Enviro, which fixes the light. So that's why that light there in the distance looks the way it is. And if you notice the beacon light on top of the aircraft, it's not that horrible massive halo effect. It's very neat. So that's a pretty cool little freeware plugin. I'll try and find the link for you guys if anyone's interested. So around the sun, you've got a question for me? Molly, so which SkyMax Pro video did you watch? Tor Jackson, here's a mission for you. If you can let me know where it's snowing currently in either Europe or America, and I'll load it up. For those of you that don't know, you can't actually change the weather in Xenviro. It'll only give you what the real weather is. I believe they're going to be doing an update which will allow you to update your own weather, but that's not currently possible. I'm pretty impressed, I must say, guys. So, I mean, I'm heading towards an area with lots of autogen there, lots of buildings, and not just this bit, I mean in the distance there. You can see, still managing to get around the 40 FPS. Interesting. So what are you saying, Molly, are you saying that they're rating SkyMax Pro highly? Josh, are you referring to my photo scenery? If you are, then I actually add it into the scenery. Let me just tell you the exact. I don't know if you saw that, but the custom scenery folder. Well, Molly, I did a live stream previously comparing the two, and I think everyone agreed with me on the stream that Xenviro was the superior one. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Got a horrible cough which I can't seem to get rid of. Yeah, obviously that's based on my own setup. In fact, I can load it up for you now if you really want to see it. It takes a few seconds to load SkyMax Pro, so it just pauses like that. But let's load it up and see what we got. Okay, so let's see if it will render some real weather for us. We can compare it. Here you go. So first issue that I have with SkyMax Pro is that browny looking haze. Can you see that in the distance? Look at that. It's now, I'm assuming it's SkyMax Pro because I only get that when I'm loading SkyMax Pro. Now the only thing I would say, the clouds do look good. At times they look cartoony, but the thing that I have the biggest issue with is performance. Look at that. That's just, I don't know if you guys can notice that, but it's really stuttery. It could be just my machine that doesn't like it. You know, I can only show you what I'm seeing here on my setup. And this is the latest version of SkyMax Pro, I believe. Let me just check. Yep. Well, I assume it's 4.01. Pretty sure that's the latest version. As you can see, I've got cloud shadows off, which I have switched on in XEnviro. What else? I've got these rays. You can barely really notice them, and they have quite a bad effect on performance, so I have them off. And the cloud distance is nowhere near as good as XEnviro. And in fact, if you really want to see, if I turn it up, so mid 30s at the minute. Let's see what this does. Okay, around the sun. Let's. I'll try that. Kilo Charlie Victor Charlie. We can try that in a second. And Josh, we can load up the IGEX if you like. There. There we go. First of all, I've increased the density of the clouds and distance, but that is not rendering it very far, let's face it. And how about the performance? It's dropped it sort of low 20s. So for me, SkyMax Pro, I think it's even time to just remove it. To be fair, I mean, they may update it, and I don't know, some sort of miracle they'll make it. Notice this going past my screen? It's a bit weird. Yeah, they may do something about it and make it a lot better. But there we go. Hope that's there we go, Molly. That's a review for you. Sorry for anyone else who wasn't interested in that, but I don't know if anyone else really had the opportunity to see the two side by side. But anyway, there you go, you have it. It's race course down there, some sort. Horse racing, I guess. Pretty sure cars don't race on the grass, do they? Let's get this off straight away. See, no horrible haze with default explain weather, and definitely not with XEnviro. I mean, I've already gained 10 FPS just changing from SkyMax to even more than that. And the draw distance is pretty impressive. Okay, so let's load up that airport, that tour's suggestion for us. Let's see if there's some snow. Kilo Charlie Victor Charlie doesn't seem to work. Let's try the other one. There we go. Let's try this one. Okay, so we're loading Echo Sierra Oscar Whiskey. It looks like it is snowing, but it's telling me that I haven't got scenery here. Although, I would say that I have got scenery. Because normally when you haven't got a continent installed, you just get water all around. Whoa, did not know I had full throttle. Yeah, it is snowing, there we go. Of course, the only issue is that the snow does not accumulate, so you don't get having said that, I noticed someone actually released a snow texture earlier today. I don't know if any of you guys have tried it. Yeah, the weather here sucks. So, nice one, Tor. You definitely found a place where it's snowing. Is that snow accumulating down there, or is that just part of... Yeah, I think that's... It's just dodgy textures. Yeah, should we make it night time? And I guess you just want to see the snow particles. Make it a little bit darker, can't we? There we go, that's what you're waiting for, wasn't it? Wow, that's very disorientating. I don't know if any of you guys have actually flown a real aircraft in rain, but that's pretty close. Snow and rain really does look fairly similar. Well, it depends on the sort of snow, but it's very disorientating. So if I turn left to a 30-degree bank, you can't really, you know, you don't really notice it unless you're looking at the HSI. There we go. I feel that the snow is pretty pointless unless it's going to accumulate on the ground, which doesn't seem to be. Raphael, I agree. I mean, I guess that's where the amazing performance is coming from. The lack of, you know, 3D modeled clouds, I guess. But honestly, for me, I don't mind. I much prefer something that's running smoothly than something that looks perfect. So there's definitely still an issue with the map. Let's just get a bit higher. Wow, this cloud layer is pretty high up. Well done, guys. You managed to find somewhere pretty... somewhere with really bad weather. Yeah, I think $70 is a bit steep, guys. But, you know, at the end of the day, the way I see it, it's the same other things really. You just have to, you know, you just have to think how long do you spend on the sim. You know, in my case, I spend quite a lot of time on it, so I know it's probably investment is the wrong word to use because you're not going to really make money on it. But in terms of how many hours you're going to be spending, I think you'll definitely use $70 worth. And with any sim, you're trying to get it looking as realistic as possible. So anyway, that's my opinion on that. Doesn't necessarily mean it's true. Let's have a look. I want to show you guys a pretty cool spot. Some of you may have seen this on one of my recent videos. But I'm just wondering whether the weather is going to be sucky there too. We'll see. Evening, JW. Good to have you back. Let's have a look. What I want to do actually, I'm just gonna put myself up the other end of the runway. Oops, let's just fix that. Not sure what's going on now. Oops, I crashed apparently. Okay, let's wait for it to load again. What's going on here? That's more like it. So guys, just another a sound check. Can everyone hear me okay? And there's a sound. Aircraft, can you still hear it? So yeah, the distance at night issue, I agree with you guys. That definitely needs to be resolved. The only thing you can see sort of in a real far distance is the airport, which it's not realistic, let's face it. But I don't think it would be very hard to solve, that's the thing. So Molly, I just by reading a few things online, apparently there's quite a big difference between the 1080 and 1070. But I couldn't tell you why. I've got the 1080 and I'll tell you now, it's by far the best card I've ever owned. So I think I've broken the plane, so let's see if I can I'm gonna have to fix it. So just something a bit of fun whilst I'm here on this page, I guess. For those of you who don't know, so you can actually create all sorts of interesting failures in your aircrafts here. It's very detailed. I mean, here we go. Bird and fuel. Bird and fuel. Water and fuel even. That would be odd, wouldn't it? Bird and fuel. Bird strike, that's why I mentioned bird. And it's interesting because you can assign or you can tell it when for that event to happen, which is pretty cool. Smoking cockpit. Brownout, I guess that's when you shit yourself. Sorry, I had to say that. But yeah, anyway, if you ever have any issues with the aircraft, you just go ahead and just click fix all systems, and then that should then get, bring everything back in line. There we go, engine's back up and running. Yeah, there's no point flying at Schiphol because it's flat. Someone completely flattened it. There's no 3D objects at the airport, which is really surprising. I think I mentioned it in a previous stream. Now check this out, guys. Look at this for an airport. You want to try and take off before you hit those trees. It's pretty cool flying around here, to be fair. Pretty cool scenery. So this is probably the only photo scenery that I downloaded at zoom level 18. So for those of you that don't know what that means, so when you download Google or Bing Maps using a tool called Ortho for XP, you have to specify what quality you want the map to be, and that's determined by the zoom level. So I think the highest it goes is 19. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 19 is the highest. And I think 14 or 15 is the lowest. So most of the photo scenery that you've seen so far, so in the shot before this, so that was zoom level 17. This here is 18, and the difference, you know, you can notice a difference. I think so, definitely. Well, I should hope so, because one tile at 17 for me is roughly around 10 gigabytes. One tile at zoom level 18 was 30, so it's 3 times the size, which is pretty crazy. I felt that I mean, the reason why I downloaded it higher for this one, it was really a test, because I never downloaded it at higher, but I felt that for this specific area it needed to be as high as possible, and I think some of you might agree that it looks pretty good. Mustang, no, I haven't landed the IGEX on that runway, but I understand you can just about make it out there with the flashing police car. I could try and land this there. It's quite challenging. One of the guys on the previous streams, I think he's oh, it could be one of you guys now actually. I'm sure they said that they went to Courchevel, I think that's how you pronounce it, and apparently private jets fly in and out of that place, which is pretty impressive, I would say, but nerve-wracking too. I guess you can see the point of the zoom level. I can be this close to it and it looks pretty sharp. Notice how the rocks look pretty detailed. If I downloaded it at lower quality, it will be very blurry up close. There you go. I mean, that looks pretty realistic, doesn't it, guys? So Pacey, sorry if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. No, it's not. Excuse me. An area is not necessarily one tile. It's hard to explain really, but if you have, say, the UK, the south of the UK, I think it makes up something like 8 or 10 tiles, just the south. So it's random really. So disclaimer, guys. I can't promise I'm going to do a very good job at this landing, because it's going uphill and I'm not a very good pilot. There we go, I said it. JW, very good question. I really don't know in terms of mileage. I could zoom out in just a second and show you what. I think I downloaded 2 tiles for this, so I can show you roughly how big 2 tiles is. This is very tricky. Definitely hit a tree there, I would say. Whoa. Yeah, that's definitely a challenging airport to land at. And there's some sort of glitch there with the the runway threshold at the end there. That's okay, it's still a fun place to fly. This is the thing I like about Explain. You can see the world is not flat. And if I stopped it there, you can see it will roll back. JW. Let me just check. Actually, I can tell you. Not for the whole UK, but I can tell you how much I downloaded the UK. So we have just for the south of the UK, which sort of goes from Cornwall all the way to sort of Kent. So that region is around just under 100 gig. Yeah, it's about 100 gig. So yeah, you might be right. It might be a terabyte. Depends if you include Scotland or not. I don't know. So Watcha, 100% yes. Explain is heavily dependent on the CPU, and the thing is, you could go out and get a GTX 1080, but if you're running it at 3.5, believe it or not, the graphics card is not going to be running at its full potential, because the CPU will be a bottleneck. So you definitely need the CPU to be running as fast as possible, and then the GPU will then be like, right, I need to work harder now, otherwise it will not do that. I'm sorry guys if I'm not answering everyone's questions. There's quite a lot of questions, so if I miss something, just feel free to repost it if I haven't answered it. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to just zoom out, or climb as high as I can, and see if we can see how far we can see the scenery in photo scenery. By the way, I'm sure you probably worked out by now, the higher you go, or the further away you are from the photo scenery, the better it's going to look. So if you guys into flying airliners, yeah, cruising altitude is when this is going to look at its best, as you can already probably see. JW, this is zoom level 18. Okay, I'm not sure how high I am right now, but I'd say pretty high. So you can just about make out now where the photo scenery, can you see there's a sort of like a very faint sort of bluish line there? I mean, you could tell the difference between the default scenery there in green and the photo scenery. So it's going a fairly long distance there. I did download 2 tiles. And I think it carries on over there as well, actually, yeah. So 2 tiles is a pretty wide area, I would say, guys. As you can see, so if you look in the distance there, that's still photo scenery there. And then, there we go, so that's where it ends. It sort of goes that way, and then across that way. And I'm not sure how far it goes that way. Ah, there we go. I just about spotted it there. So there. It's a big area if you're flying VFR, but I think if you're flying at this altitude, you would cover 2 tiles pretty quick. So I hope that answers your questions about that. So Mustang, you're asking about a link. What link are you referring to? To be honest, I actually think the default scenery is not too bad. I sit there. Honestly, I think it is, in my opinion, a lot better than P3D. In P3D, I mean, you can see in the distance there, you don't get that horrible blurries that you get. If you guys remember FSX or P3D, you get horrible blurries. I mean, that's a pretty long distance, and you can see it's not blurred. Of course, Autogen's not going to load at that distance, but you know, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be as good as the photo scenery. In fact, let's just raise the sun a little bit. There we go. I mean, look at that. It's not going to be as good as that, is it? Let's face it. But it's still good. You just make out the airport just down there. There is there. And there's another little airport just there. So Josh, I run full screen mode. So let's, Raphael asked if I can load up the IGEX. So let's do that and see if it's broken in beta 5. Hopefully not. I love that jet. Hi Parsa, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Good to see you again. Ole, yeah, happy to check out a few airports. I am limited on the continents. I haven't got all the continents installed. Link to the photo scenery. So it's not quite a link to it. What I suggest you do, so one of my favorite YouTubers, I don't know if you guys have heard of him, I'm sure most of you have, Q8 Pilot. So he did a short video on how to set up the photo scenery, and it's from his video that I learned how to do this. So I can share the link with you guys, and you can see for yourselves how I did it. There's another channel, I think it's Explain, and he's created 2 videos. They're a lot more in depth, and they probably answer some of the questions that you might have about it, and questions that I wouldn't know the answers to be fair. But they are very in depth. So let me just see if I can find a link and post it on here for you guys. I'll post it in this chat for those of you interested, so you can watch it.
Brothers and sisters,
It there.
do not be fooled by
There we go, guys. That's a good video to watch. Hi, Mike C. So, when you say load time, what are you referring to exactly? Load time, the sim, or launch date? So, 737 seems okay right now, doesn't it? So, by the way, guys, we're at Laui, or Innsbruck. So I've also got photo scenery here, you'd be pleased to know. As you can see, there's a lot of autogen and traffic. So for any of you guys who are new to this channel, or even new to X-Plane, or even just new to photo scenery, there's a tool called Ortho for XP which allows you to select the maps that you want to download. You can even choose what source, i.e. Google or Bing. Now, if you're flying in Europe, and I think they may have released this in for the US as well, but again, you guys can correct me. Once you've downloaded your maps, you can download another add-on which is called W2XP. I think W2XP, and what it does, it uses something called OpenStreetMaps. So it basically looks at the actual map data, in this case in Europe, and it will dump the streets and buildings exactly where they're supposed to be. So when you add that on top of the photo scenery, it should look close to perfect. So you can see there, that's clearly what that's supposed to look like, which is pretty cool. And you can see that there's a road that goes into, well, there's a tunnel there, and it just comes out the other end, which is here, and just carries on all the way up that mountain there, which is pretty cool. Just about to make out a police car there on the highway. Yeah, so it's a really cool add-on, because it literally, so what you're looking at there is not just 2D scenery. See, it's actually 3D scenery with traffic and whatever, and it's just sat on top of the photo scenery. It's just amazing, absolutely amazing. Tor, yeah, I've done that a few times, trust me. So Parsa, what region is that airport? Because if it's South America, I'm pretty sure I don't actually have it. Let's jump back in the plane and take off. Let's check out the scenery around here, shall we? What I might do is, are you guys happy with the time of day? We can leave it as it is, and we can change it once we're up there, can't we? Now the thing I love about this jet is the sounds. All of the sounds, apart from that bloody thing there, the trim wheel. it's got Tourette's or it just goes nuts, and I think I'm pretty sure it's because of the trim wheel on my joystick. If I move the trim wheel on my joystick forward, that line stops. But if you notice here the trim, see, that's not how you want to take off. Run it around here, but it just freaks out. There you go. That should do it. The other thing is, guys, for those of you who are interested, on my joystick I've set up the keys so I can move around wherever I want inside the cockpit very easily. Up, down, left, right, forward, back. It's pretty easy to set up in the settings page. I do have the Middle East, I believe, so we can. I think we did try it around before, so we can try that in just a moment. I'm going to take off from here and just have a look around, if that's okay. Listen to that sound. As you can see, having water-gen placed exactly where it should be on top of that photo scene is just amazing. And notice the water, so that looks like water from Bing, but it's not actually. It's actual X-plane water, believe it or not. Now that's some climb, isn't it? Okay, so this is for you Fly High Sim. Here's the link to the autogen. Excuse me. I'm just gonna put it on autopilot because I like to see what you guys are saying and I like to answer your questions. So it'll be easier if I just let it climb on its own. Yeah, just sit this there and enjoy the view. So, questions, guys? Okay, so it's sound issue. So let's turn that down. Is that any better, guys? Can you hear me a little bit better now? So watch here. So W2XP just adds the autogen in the correct spot. The author for XP allows you to download the photo scenery. In my case, I'm using Bing. But notice the autogen down there, all these houses. That's not 2D, that's all 3D. Placed exactly where it should be. See the factories down there, or whatever it is, that's all 3D objects. This is not 2D. See if I can zoom in a little bit more. There we go, see? It's just incredible. It's just very clever. Whoever did this is genius. So Ole, I can show you that airport, but I don't have photo scenery installed for that region. So happy to show you, but I don't think it's going to look as impressive as this. Around the sun, it doesn't actually matter which one you download first. When you add the files to your scenery folder, they need to be in a specific order. Okay, just so you guys know, for those of you who have not heard about this, but there's an Explain Facebook group. I'm just going to share the link with you guys now. There's quite a few of them, to be fair, but this is the one that I would say this is one of my favorites, only because it's the most responsive one. So if you have any questions about anything, people respond really quick. It's brilliant. So some chap linked a tool which is, I think it's called X Organizer. I'll try and load it up, but I have a feeling you're not going to be able to see it because I think this only shows you the Explain. See if I can. Pretty sure it's not going to work. No, it's not going to work. Anyway, what that tool does, it will automatically analyze the sceneries, the files. So basically, if you download photo scenery and you download W2X and I don't know, payware airports or freeware airports, it will automatically resort them for you because they have to be in a specific order. So the lowest thing in terms of order should be the photo scenery. Okay, and then the overlays, which is things like autogen and streets and whatever, mesh, I guess. But yeah, it's a pretty cool tool. It's called X Organizer, I believe. So I noticed there's an issue with the IGEX. I don't know if you guys noticed. If you've got a dual monitor setup, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to change it to this view. I'm going to go and click on my next monitor. When I do that, it throws me back into the cockpit. Very bizarre. So I'm not deliberately switching between the two because I know how annoying that can be. Yeah, Ole, I'm happy to load up that airport. I can do that shortly for you. There you go. That's scenery around Austria. Pretty cool. Sorry, but I don't think any of the payware add-ons are going to be this good. Sure, I mean it's not just a case of downloading the whole world. That would be close to impossible. And a lot of people use that as in an argument when I say about author for XP or photo scenery is the way to go. But realistically, when you really think about where you guys fly in your sim, I know for me certainly, when I look at it, I'm flying normally in the same places all the time. I'm not going to just suddenly fly somewhere I've never heard of. And even if I really wanted to, it wouldn't take very long to download that scenery anyway. So in my opinion, it's not that much of an issue. The only issue I would say is storage space. That does become an issue. There's an airport down there, I just noticed. Around the sun, this is Explain beta, however you want to say it, 5. So this is the latest version. That's why I decided to do this stream actually. I thought a few people would be interested to see that. Okay, let's Salzburg. We'll fly to there, we'll land the aircraft and we can try Norway for Ole. Hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. So let's head towards there. So I noticed the weather's changed now. It's got a lot more hazy. See, to me that looks. You're not going to beat that. I'm sorry, but I'm willing to argue with whoever says P3D or FSX is better than this. I'm sorry, it isn't. And I'm not some Explain fanboy. Or maybe I am now, to be fair. But, I've been using Microsoft Flight Simulator since FS98. So I've been pretty religious to Microsoft's Flight Sim. And I'm happy to admit that this is definitely much better. To be fair, FSX, if you think about it, what is it, 2006? It's pretty good considering how old it is. But I think I'm done with that now. I'm done with all the tweaking and trying to improve the FPS and all that rubbish. Just remembered, I think Salzburg, I think that's where we're going. It's not a 3D airport, so I think it's just a runway, so I think it's going to be a little bit disappointing for you guys, I'm afraid. Guys, can I just check, is the sound still pretty poor? Okay, I've just changed it again, hopefully it might be a little bit better now. Good night, Matrix Pilot. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I've actually deliberately raised the spoilers so I can descend a bit quicker. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Still too high. Does it sound okay for you guys? Good, good. So as you can see, just make out a line there. See, there's sort of like a blue line right there. So that's where it goes from photo scenery to default scenery. Yeah, and that airport is pretty lonely. No 3D objects there, I'm afraid. But yeah, so as you can see, I mean, the default scenery is not that bad really, is it? It's pretty good. But I will say something, and I don't know if it's just with me, but I always find the photo scenery gives me better FPS than default scenery. So there we go. What's that? 35. When I turn around this way, 29. Very bizarre. You would think with really high quality. There we go. You can see that line there now clearly. You'd think with all that detail that it would take a bigger hit on FPS than that would. Go look. So Parser, I didn't actually do anything to make the mountain so detailed. That's the way it is. So I'm not going to take credit for something I didn't do. So I think what I might do, I might abort this landing, the idea of this landing, because it's a pretty boring plain airport down there. And let's just let's change the airport. There we go. So this was Ole's request. JW, did you miss when I did the short flight a short while ago from Courchevel? Try again in a few moments if you like. Take care, Watcher. Thank you very much. Very kind. Aha, so no, I do not have the scenery for this area, I'm afraid, as you can see. That's why it's all water. Sorry, Ole. So, Justin, Explain 11, no one really knows. The only thing I think there is a little bit of a hint, because I think on Steam it says either 7th or 17th of February, and I think what people are saying, historically, it normally gets released outside of Steam before it does on Steam, so who knows. Sorry, Parsa. Yes, that's definitely next on the list. I do apologize. I did promise that we'll fly there, so that will be the next one I do. Whoa. Yes, there's a slight glitch with this airport, as you can see. So this was for JW. Here we go. This is Courchevel for you. Um, yeah, I think JW hit it on the head. I'm still catching up with comments. There's quite a few comments, and I'm not sure which ones are aimed towards me. There seems to be quite a lot of questions. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to change the time a little bit. Make it a little bit more interesting. Just make sure I've still got Xenviro enabled. Pretty sure I have, yeah. Cool. Justin, you know, I'll say straight up, I wouldn't personally bother with P3D. I'll go straight into Explain. Explain without any payware is a lot better than P3D, even with some payware. And look, you get sloped runways in Explain. So JW, does that look accurate to you? Around the sun, I think last time I tried it, max texture no compression, I think it had a massive performance hit for me. That's why I've not set it back on that. Yeah, I love flying around in photo scenery. It just really does add a lot more realism to it. So just going back to Justin's question, yeah, I really think there's no comparison. I think X-Plane 11 is definitely the way to go. Definitely. And the thing is with P3D, every major update you have to pay, from what I remember, you have to pay a new license. You know, for a new license. So it can get very expensive. And a lot of the freeware stuff on X-Plane is really good. I would say it's almost payware quality in P3D. And by the way, just so you know, I don't I'm not endorsed or work for Laminar Research, the guys who make Explain. I just, you know, I just love it, and you know, I'm happy to share my opinion on it. FPS right now 40, around 40. In this sort of view, 50. Yeah, depending which way I'm looking, it's averaging around 40, I would say. But I am streaming, so I do say that I normally lose between 8 and 10 frames when I'm streaming, because it's processing a lot of information. The other thing which you guys can't see, I've got another monitor set up, and it's got the live stream on there, so I'm watching what I'm showing you and that's how I get to see your comments and answer them. And I've got a load of other tabs open too. Okay, that's 60 frames looking down, but it's obviously not rendering as much, is it? No problem, Ole. Sorry it didn't work out for you. But once the final version's released, I will be installing all the continents. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you know, you would like to get notifications when I'm next live, do subscribe. Hi Flytech, good to see you again. Thank you, Tor. Very kind. Yeah, I'm only going to be here for the next 15 minutes or so. But thank you all for joining. I'm going to load up the Airport 4 parser, which is Oscar India November Juliet, so we can check it out and see what that's like. I think what we'll do, we'll just land at that small airfield down there, and then we can change the location. Just gonna make it a little bit lighter again. Get to see the scenery a little bit better. To me that looks like a real picture. Close to real. I don't know what you guys think. Gonna need to lose quite a bit of height to get down there. JW, I think the main reason really is because it's still in beta and I don't want to download a load of scenery, and I mean a bit like today really, they launched 4. Normally I'd update it immediately and go and play with it, but I was at work when they launched it, and then suddenly I saw a load of messages about how it broke for a lot of people and they had to reinstall, and so I don't want to install a load of stuff during a testing phase. Once it's finally released, I will install everything that I need properly. Josh, yeah, I have flown in real life quite a few times. I'm hoping to complete my PPL, if not next year, the year after, and I'm also hoping to do my ATPL in the next few years. Thank you, Flytech. Yeah, it's pretty cool scenery around here, isn't it? I've not really heard of this place before. I think it was JW who told me in one of the previous streams to check out this area, and I did, using the default scenery, and I thought to myself, I wonder what it would look like with the photo scenery, so immediately after that stream I went and downloaded it. And I've flown here a couple of times now. I think there's a couple of videos that I did that seemed to be a pretty big hit on my channel with this scenery, so good choice. It's a bit of a heavy landing. Don't need to brake, just let gravity slow me down. Probably need to brake a little bit here. So there's a few cool things on Explain. So for those of you who are new to Explain, there's quite a few cool features. So the ability to move around the world freely, really easily, is pretty cool. So you can see, you can zoom in, zoom out, look around. You can also change the time of day very quickly. There you go. This is cool, isn't it? Can't see anything. There you go. And then you can move up very quick, have a look around. So it looks, with the photo scenery at this sort of time, I think it looks amazing. It really does, with the mountains sort of orangey, pinky colour. But yeah, so there's quite a few cool little tricks with Explain that you can do, if you already didn't know that. There we go. So if you remember, or for those of you who still use P3D or FSX, how long does it take you to wait for the time to change? A couple of other things which impress me. So the braking physics has been modeled as well. So notice when I advance the throttle, see the airplane just wants to move around. So if I move the wheel, and it will move backwards as well, which is pretty cool. What else? Cool little things with the scenery as well. Notice this little thing spinning around. So you get things like wind socks moving and all sorts of things. Little things like that are pretty cool. You just about make out it moving a little bit there. So Benjamin, photo scenery is downloaded using a tool called Author for XP. So you sort of have to create your own photo scenery, and it's not that hard. I shared a link to a video earlier in this chat, and you can see a video by another YouTuber called Q8 Pilot. He's done a pretty cool short guide on how to do all this. That's how I've learned to do it anyway. So let's jump to, I think that's Oscar, India, November, Juliet. Although I'm confident it's not a 3D, because I'm pretty sure it didn't say 3D next to it, so I think it's probably going to be a flat airport, I'm afraid, Parser. Yeah, I'm also used to you know, when I fly in real life, you know, depending on obviously the aircraft you fly, but seeing the nose, that's why I sort of quite like it in that view there around that height. Yeah, afraid it's oh, okay, there is some scenery here. It's right on the coast. That's interesting. So this is what default scenery looks like. To be fair, this is pretty bad compared to Europe and US. It's a lot better than this. Seems to get a little bit better inland. I always find that it looks better at this sort of time of day with the default scenery, because you don't get to see that horrible stuff there. But yeah, it's not too bad. It's pretty cool still, isn't it? So Adrian, these are not default sky textures. I'm using, as you can see here, X Enviro. I do have SkyMax Pro, but it's no good. I've showed it a few times. I showed it earlier in the stream. It's not great. Anyway, are you happy with that parser? It's probably not what you wanted to see, but let's change aircraft. Let's get the Phantom. Where is it gone? There it is. Can fly to the mountains very quickly that way. Excuse me. So obviously when you got scenery that's a bit sparse like this, the frame rate's much better. Okay, I was really imagining this taking off much sooner than that. Parser, would you agree that the sun, as you can see it there in the haze, is very typical of sort of Middle East? I go to Dubai a lot on holiday, and their sunsets look almost like that. Yeah, I think it would certainly be better than the FSX one. I've not tried this particular area in FSX, so I can't really tell you, but I would imagine it's definitely better. So another neat little trick for those of you that didn't know, so if you click M, it's a little bit buggy at the minute in the beta version, but it will bring up the map. So you can see the different airports that are nearby, and you can click on them and you can get more information about the airport. There we go, so there's an airport there, Tehran International is there. And if you click on details, you can see the current conditions, weather conditions of that airfield or airport. And if you really wanted to, if you just if you click on aircraft, your aircraft there, highlight it so it's yellow, you can go ahead and move it. There you go. You can also increase the altitude and the speed as well. And I think I've broken it. I think it's probably just trying to load the scenery now. Yeah, I think I crashed the jet. So let's wait for it to load. Or may have actually even crashed X-Plane. Yep, it crashed it. Thank you, Around the Sun. Very kind. So I think I need to call it a night. I got a few video ideas that I need to be working on. So does anyone have any questions? Anyone want to ask me anything? Got 5 minutes or so. Hi Philippe. Yes, it is X-Plane Beta 5. Although when I started off the stream, it seemed a little bit buggy, but I think it was the A320 that was causing issues. Thank you, Josh. Yeah, so it's probably a little bit different this stream. hope most of you find it interesting. I know there's a few streamers out there that like to stream sort of real flights from one place to another. I might do that eventually, but I think leading up to the final release of X-Plane, I quite like doing these because a lot of people are learning about X-Plane, and I get a lot of questions about photo scenery, how to install it, and how do you do this, and what are my settings, and so I'm happy to help you guys out. Thank you, Josh, and thank you, JW, very kind, and thank you, Parsa, very kind too. Yeah, that might be a good idea, JW. Yeah, I'm happy to, take ideas from you guys in terms of what you would like to see. Pretty relaxed about what I do in these streams. I actually forgot this Lancer was pretty sure it wasn't in beta 3. Maybe I just missed it because I flew it a lot in X-Plane 10. Maybe it's just my imagination. I don't know actually. I'm convinced that it wasn't there in X-Plane 11. Could be wrong. So it looks like the weather in my area's got even worse. Sorry, I'm not I'm not doing a flight or anything. I'm just trying this out because I was pretty sure that this disappeared. Maybe I'm going crazy. Hmm. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I think maybe I'm just going crazy, but there it is. And it looks pretty good. Anywho, thank you guys once again. For those of you who haven't subscribed, please do. That way you get a notification of when I'm next online. Of course, that's if you want to see me again, see my channel again. And also you get notifications of my new video uploads. And yeah, thank you once again, and hope to see you again soon. Take care, guys. Bye.